And we're
And
live.
we're live.
Nice. Well, welcome everyone. We already have people joining live. So this is our first session of 2026. So great year for everyone. This is something that we are going to kick off the year with a bang. Honestly, we are super excited. Thanks again for joining us. And if it is the first time that you are actually joining us, we'll give a couple of minutes for people to actually join live. The idea behind the session today, it's the format is a live Q&A session where you actually get the chance to ask your questions during the session. Okay, so I will encourage you to actually get there. There's a little button there that says chat. Click that and then tell us what's your current role, what's your current position, so that we actually get to know better who's in the audience and our guests can also have an idea of who's in the audience. So please click there in the chat the button, and then put there in the chat where what's your current position or role, and if you want to say hi from whatever you're joining live today, please do. So my name is Ignacio. I'm part of the Kiflo team. I'll be your host. So I'll have the conversation with our guest. And I have our great Tom also from the Kiflo team, and he will be moderating. So basically, Tom, he will be catching all those questions that you have in the chat. So please, this is super important because we won't wait until the end to get your answers. You'll actually get your answers during the session. Okay, this is an interactive session. Okay, so yes, Jasmine, it's going to be recorded. We actually are recording, and everyone that actually register will get the recording after the session. Okay, so if you're watching the recording, thank you also, and please also try to join the next ones live, because we always try to have something special for people that attend. Today we have a special bonus, so let's go and discuss that at the end of the session. But let's wait. We already have like 10 or 11 people joining live, so we'll wait one more minute and then we'll kick things off. So please put in the chat while we wait, what's your current role position, so that we have an idea of who's in the audience. Okay, Jasmine, maybe you can tell us what's your role, um, and we'll
Yeah, I
wait
think
until
there
you
is
come
some
back.
issue. There's a bug. I hope they can hear us well because the number of the attendees goes up and down all the time. So yeah, guys, can you? No, it's one. Yeah, yeah. I think there is some bug, but yeah, just let us know if you can hear us and see us.
Okay, Simon, we are here and see you. Lauren, I hear
Okay,
you well. So yeah, everyone's there. Perfect. So tell us, please, what's your current position? What's your role? I can
awesome.
hear you
Glad
as
to
well.
hear,
Sinclair,
guys.
Jenny, Christine, James from Burlington, Canada. Welcome. I
Ontario.
hope you're not freezing. Siraj, yes, they can hear us. Liz, I can hear you. Head of Partnerships, Property, Mail, PropTech, Industry in South Dakota. Welcome. Head of Partnerships, Sam in the UK as well. Lauren, European Indian Partner Manager, and Jasmine High Partner Manager, mostly for mid market and retail. James, VP of Marketing, Sign Agent. Welcome, James. And yeah, I think that we are ready to roll. We have more than 20 people live, so let's kick things off. Because today, Shira, CFO of Cyber SaaS in Amsterdam. Jenny, Partner Manager in the UK. Welcome, everyone.
Wow,
If you just
diverse
joined,
audience.
please, this session is, the format is super important because this is a live Q&A session. So you'll have the chance to actually ask your questions during the session. So put the questions in the chat while we are having the conversation with the guest, and we'll have those answers right there. We won't wait until the end. Okay, so let's kick things off. So today we have a super special guest, and we choose her to actually kick things off this year with a bang. The topic is super interesting. It's how to stop the reset cycle. So basically, from stall partner programs to something that actually delivers results, and why this happens. I mean, we're going to discuss why this happens, why generally partner programs underperform even in great companies, and how to actually fix it. Okay, so today, our lovely guest is Sonya Jamula. She's the founder of Coconut Curry. She actually has, well, she describes herself as partnership growth architect, and also she's an advisor. She helps B2B SaaS companies and fintechs basically to get to profitability with partnerships. And she also was a VP of partnership at Gusto. She will tell us all her story because this session is also about the story of people in partnership. So Sonia, welcome. It's a real
Welcome,
pleasure to
Sonia.
having you today.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
Woohoo! Yeah,
We're
we are
very
super
excited as well.
excited, and I'm sure that the people joining live are super excited and have a lot of questions for you. So maybe what we can do to kick things off as well and get interaction from our audience is maybe we can bring up a poll. Typically, we have a poll so that we have an assessment of how the audience is doing. So Tom, great. What's your number one partner headache right now? Please let us know if you have too many logos, not enough focus, direct first goals on indirect motions, no attribution finance trust, and the resource team or others. So please, we'll have a couple of minutes so that you can all give us your answers. Just click there
Don't
and
be
we'll
shy,
have,
vote. It's anonymous. We just want
yes,
your answer.
this is an assessment just for Sonia to have an idea of which things you're struggling the most with. So it seems like direct first goal on indirect motions, which is obviously the first topic that you're going to discuss today,
My biggest pet peeve.
seems to be the pain.
James actually has a comment. He says, I don't know what you mean by no attribution finance trusts. So, Sonia, maybe you can
So
explain that.
basically, it's you in your attribution model. Does finance actually trust that your revenue or your leads or new customers are coming from the specific partners? Are they attributed correctly? And finance believes it. People are just not making it up and pretending that things are
Yeah,
happening.
makes sense. Makes sense. But it seems like 50% is direct first goals on indirect motions, and
Mm.
then maybe too many logos, not enough focus seems to be
And
a
the
lot
resource
of
team as
it.
well.
Under resource teams also. So those are the main three that you can focus on,
Yeah.
Sonia. I'm curious about the other. If you click other, just let us know in the chat which ones are those others so that Sonia also can go through those as well. But I think that we can kick off the first subtopic if you're okay, because we have a lot to cover today. So let's just, and again, if you're just joining, please put in the chat your questions. Sonia will get those answers during the session, not at the end. You'll get the answers right there. Okay, so let's kick things off with the first topic. So this is, again, direct versus indirect reality check. This is something that most of you said that you're struggling with, which is great. And this is how actually you actually fix this because it's a real issue, right? Sonia, you've seen this everywhere that you've been, right?
Yeah, basically, I've seen that the poll and the results of the poll basically show what my entire career looks like and the things that I have been arguing and fighting about my entire career within my organizations. And coming out of it and now being an advisor and a consultant working in fractional roles, I have a different lens now of how much I am seeing it across the board. And so I think we should start a little bit by talking about like, what do you mean by direct muscle memory breaking partner motion? So most leadership teams, especially in the startup and the tech world, they grew up in a direct first world. You have direct sales training, you have direct quotas and forecasting, direct control over who we hire, who we call, how we price them. Then they launch a partner motion, and whether it's channel integrations, reseller, co-sell, whatever the motion is, they unconsciously expect it to behave like adding another AE. An indirect motion, in that function, you're actually asking another company's team to learn about your story, care about your product, and fit into their process. That takes way more upfront design, more enablement, and more patience. So essentially the issue is when you treat partners like they're, off payroll AE, you end up with really unrealistic targets, partner commitments that probably were never real, and a lot of broken trust, both internally and externally, when inevitably that number is going to get missed because you were never set up to be successful. The motion and the timelines do not match what for direct do not match what partner and indirect motions timelines are. Neither do the activities. So it continues to be a problem. This is always when I'm advising CEOs, I'm always challenging those thought processes. How do you do it for direct? Why do you think it's the same for indirect? I think timelines are really where it starts breaking apart, because you expect results really quickly, and you expect like everything is a shiny object, everything is a bespoke activity, and then we did this. Okay, well, like, why isn't the partner performing 3 months later? Because you only did one thing to engage them and nothing ever happened after that, and then you moved on to the next one. Shiny object syndrome, my favorite. So I just wanted to clarify, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about direct versus an indirect reality check.
Makes a lot of sense. And Sonia, how you've seen that this could be fixed? Because this is something that we discussed with you, and you've seen, like, for instance, sometimes it's the timeline, but also it's kind of like the approach, right? You need
Yeah.
to be kind of like doing things differently. So how do you fix this?
So let's talk about it in kind of 3 buckets. Let's talk about the timeline first, and then let's talk about really what leadership should be doing differently. And then we can talk a little bit about like how focus is going to beat logo acquisition. So starting with what's a real sane timeline for partner performance? A sane timeline is not, we signed in Q1, there'll be 30% of new ARR by Q2. That's not realistic. I roughly look at the design, if we're taking a very high level approach to this, in 0 to 90 days, so your first 3 months, you should be designing a motion. You should be signing a few right fit partners. You should be enabling their teams, and you should be getting to your first joint customer win with those partners. If nothing meaningful is happening in those first 90 days, that's your first warning sign. It's also where you should be fixing what is broken. If you do not get activity within the first 90 days of signature, that partnership is going to stall, and it is going to be really hard to activate them after that, because you did not show value. They moved on to something else. You moved on to something else. And it's hard to come back from that, but also it's hard to compound the revenue from there. In the 90 to 180 days, so that would be 3 to 6 months, what you should start to see now is signal. So it's partner sourced or partner attached ops in the CRM, a couple of deals where the partner helped you win, so through an integration or some other factor of how you're actually partnered with them. This is particularly where you're seeing the signal. You're starting to figure out what are the motions that work, that can be repeated, and that you want to compound in time. In the 6 to 12 months, now you should see something that you can actually forecast. There's consistent partner-driven pipeline, and it's from a small set of partners. You can see early pattern recognition, what's working, what's not working. You can move faster in some cases, but if your board expects a fully scaled channel program in 2 quarters, that's not a partnership problem. That's basically a planning problem, which then brings us to what should leadership be doing different here? And essentially, the fix is, first, stop pretending direct and indirect work on the same switch. That does not work. So if you are a leader on this team, I saw there was a VP of marketing, I saw there was directors of channels and other leadership positions. This is something that you will probably, you must know at this point, especially if you're on the partnership side, but it's probably something that you either have tried to fight against or you fought and failed. This is going to be your biggest mountain that you have to climb. But the way to kind of back up a little bit and reset what the expectations are is design one clear motion per partner type. Don't give anybody a buffet of 10 vague ideas. Like I said, treat the first 90 days after signature as a launch. Who's being trained? What plays will they run? Which customers do we want to win together? And early on, you just forecast off of the leading indicators. So this is not like made up revenue. How many partner reps are enabled? How many joint activities are booked? How many ops have a partner attached? That's how you're going to start bringing that direct discipline that everybody loves to see into the indirect world, without setting everyone else up to fail, but also not throwing a bunch of resources. You don't need to hire 18 people to do this. You can start small, focus. And I understand that in a lot of companies, that is going to be against the grain in what your leadership or what the expectation is. But if you do this on the side and you start proving it out, the metrics will come out of it that will support you, that your CFO will see and will understand from a compounding perspective. So then the next step here is, how do you pick lighthouse partners without guessing? So real quick baseline, when I say lighthouse partner, I mean it's a partner that you are investing in disproportionately because they do three things. One is they sit right on top of your ICP. So they share they're a concentrated pool of your ICP. They give you visibility and signal into the market. And then they also help you prove a motion that you can later repeat with others. So essentially, what we're saying here is the lighthouse partner is the one you're going to spend most of your time on, which is why we're saying disproportionately. So they hit all the boxes. We know there's something great here. Let's figure out what is working here, and is our hypothesis right, and can we scale it? So instead of spreading yourself thin across 20 strategic partners, now you have a small number of lighthouses that you're willing to overinvest in so that you can learn fast and then build real case studies. And the way you get there is by, first and foremost, define your IPP. Everyone forgets this. Everybody talks about it. Everybody defines it like 8 months ago when I first started my job. But then, the board and the CEO everybody's throwing logos at you and intros at you. And we forgot all about what our IPP was. This is really important. Your IPP ties directly to what your ICP is, which is what everyone else in your company is focused on acquiring. So instead of anyone who sells to SMB, maybe you say something like, they are vertical platforms or service firms in X industries. They serve companies of X size. Where is it natural to attach our product at X point in the workflow? So once you have this general idea, write it down. It's the word of law for your partner program for the foreseeable future. Why? Because again, like I said, it matches what your company is also going after. Yeah. And from there, you're going to just build a short list, maybe 5 to 10, where you can honestly say like, hey, we share this ICP, we can design a compelling joint offer and workflow. And then we can realistically see a path to multiple deals, not just one co-branded webinar and we all got happy and that was the end of it. Nobody ever talked to them ever again. And now they're sitting in a logo graveyard on your website. Those are your lighthouse partners. They're the ones you're going to point to when someone says, hey, what does a working partner motion actually look like and what's successful? That's the one. And if you have 5 or 6 of them, you're going to look really good in front of your executives too, because you have done it efficiently.
This first is pure gold. I'm glad that we're recording this because everyone should go and rewatch this a few times. And if you're watching this as a recording, this is pure gold. So Sonya, again, you're hitting every nail. I think that James had a
James
great
says
comment.
he says this is great. All lessons I've been learning the hard way over the last few years. Nice to see that I'm not alone in these hurdles.
Yeah, you're definitely not. Definitely not. Lived it and cried about it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Sridhar had a question actually. She was wondering, would you elaborate more on the leading KPIs at every stage?
Yeah, I think that this is, it obviously is going to be a little bit dependent on what your motion is and what your company is. But when we're talking about leading and lagging indicators, I think the lagging indicators is very self-explanatory. You have partner sourced and partner influenced revenue. And then you have win rates on your partner deals versus non-partner deals, ACV, retention. On the leading indicator side, the things that tell you if you're actually setting yourself up for those results, here, what I personally look at is how many partners are in the activate stage right now. Now, that is not signed partners. Having a signature doesn't mean anything to me. Great, congratulations, you got through the negotiation and hopefully you got really good economics, but it doesn't mean anything in terms of actual production. When you talk about partnerships, the idea here is compounding revenue. If nothing ever happens, nothing ever happens. So I don't care if the partner is signed. I am not measuring that. What I am measuring is how many are activate. Do we have at least one joint activity going on with them? Have we actually generated one joint customer with this partner? That means they're in activate. How many partner-driven opportunities are being created each quarter? And here's another one, depending on what your motion is how many of your sellers or CSMs have actually been enabled or are using partner plays? How many activities are your marketing folks shipping? And this isn't just like, hey, I'm doing a webinar, or hey, we sent out, we did a joint social post. This is like kits. Are they doing kits? Are they doing event kits? Are they doing enablement kits? What are they shipping every single month to your partners? Those are the leading indicators, because they will actually tell you, are you being set up for success? Is something actually going to happen out of this, even if it's small or big? But when you can see the picture of the lagging and the leading, then partnerships, it sort of stops becoming a soft narrative about we have great relationships, and it starts actually looking like a channel that you can inspect, tune, and scale, just like any other revenue motion, which is really where your leaders get stuck into that direct motion. It's because they can do that with direct, and nobody has ever built that in indirect for them. So doing this builds that, and then it becomes something that you can inspect, tune, and scale.
I love the fact that you are covering a lot of things and moving ahead of things that we are going to cover. So that's amazing. And again, if you have any questions for Sonia, you already did, but please put them in the chat and she'll cover those even before we go to the end of the session. So Sonia, maybe we can pause here, because I think that the next topic is the key. Everything that you've said before, it's super relevant in extremely important. But the third one, I think that it's where if you actually get it right, you have some chances of getting some success, right? So maybe we can jump into the actual kind of like resources and show me the incentive, I'll show you the results, right? So
Yeah.
you have a lot to cover here and you have a lot of experience. So maybe you can tell us like, and then we can cover the questions, because I'm sure that they will flood and they will have a lot. But tell us what you've seen in your experience.
Yeah, I guess first, what does under-resourcing generally look like, and what does enough actually mean? So under-resourcing generally looks like this, and everybody I'm sure can relate on this call. One partnerships person trying to own 30 partners and support 100 AEs on either side of the relationship. No enablement or PMM time to turn stories into assets. No sales engineering capacity to show a joint solution in a real deal. Maybe a comp model where partner deals are more of a hassle and less of an upside for their partnership, for the sales teams. And then your leaderships just keep saying partnerships don't work. Partners don't work for us. I don't believe in large teams having to exist for things in partnerships to actually look the way they need to. You don't need a 20-person team, but you do need a baseline. So enablement and PMM, you need somebody to turn the partner into usable sales material. One page of who, when, why. That doc will be invaluable and reusable. A short training or recording can easily be recorded themselves. A couple of email templates or talk tracks, maybe sales engineering or technical support. So enough coverage so that if a deal hangs on the integration or workflow, there's someone who can actually show it and answer the questions. If you're always asking sales engineers or PMMs for a favor for partner stuff, you're actually going to lose whatever the job is. So there's a lot of different ways that you could actually engage with the existing teams. The crux here is to have a baseline of the basic things that you're going to need. It's always going to be enablement and or PMM. That is always going to be a need. SE depends on your business model, but do you have a co-sell model? How are the incentives working so that the AEs actually pull partners in? This doesn't even have to be overcomplicated, but what you do have to do is make sure that your company is avoiding punishing people for using partners versus actually supporting it. So putting it more concretely, partner sourced ops should route cleanly with clear ownership. Know who owns this, who owns that kind of mess that everybody's always arguing about, and really doesn't solve anything. Also, it slows the deals down, and it creates a bad taste internally amongst everybody who actually is supposed to work on this to support it. Partner deals should be at least as good for the AE's quota and commission as pure direct deals. My favorite tactic to do is to reconcile the MRR, if that's how they're being goaled, against whatever their monthly quotas are. If they make less money or get forecast grief, they're going to stop using the partners right away. And ops, don't ever forget the ops part of this. Make it stupidly easy to tag partners in the CRM. If capturing partner involvement is painful, it's never going to happen. There's already too much going on with the salespeople there. The behavior you want is like the AE asking, hey, which partner can help me open or accelerate or expand, close this deal? Not, if I bring a partner in, this gets more complicated and then I might hurt my number, and nobody cares. So that's one thing that's a very easy fix in some orgs. Sometimes it's just incredibly difficult because people are not understanding the metrics, which takes us back to our early conversation. Get the metrics down right. There's a quick test that leaders can also run in their own org. Just, simple test. Name your top 3 to 5 partners. Tell me who in sales engineering, CS, marketing actually supports them and how they're measured on it. If marketing does not have goals to support partners and do not have goals on how they are successful, why would they do your work? And most importantly, show me how those partner deals show up in your CRM. If you can't answer those questions clearly, you don't actually have the resourcing or an incentive model yet. You have intentions and a pretty deck. It's really what it is.
You're throwing a playbook here, Sonya. I mean, it's just like
and very honest
amazing.
one, direct, which I
We
think
already
our
have
audience
like a
appreciates.
lot of questions. So we'll cover those in a second. But please do yourself a favor, and if you're not doing that already, follow Sonya on LinkedIn. She covers everything and shares a lot of things, so please do that. So Tommy, maybe we can cover, because I'm aware of the time, maybe we can cover the questions and then move to the kind of like closing of the
Yeah,
session.
of course. So the first question is from David. He's asking, what role can founders play in the rest cycle? Should it all rely on the partnership team?
Oh, David, I love that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is the hardest thing. See, look, here's what you have to consider, David. A partnerships person is touching almost every part of your business in some way or the other. Be realistic. You have a CMO who's managing a CMO team. You have a sales leader who's managing a sales leader, and the same for product and engine all. The partnerships leader is the only leader who isn't actually just managing the partnerships team. They have to manage everybody who touches every part of them, because they cannot be successful on their own. They need the help from all their cross-functional people, which is where you come in as a founder. So the idea is to get focus. I think there are 4 jobs that really sit with you. One is set the mandate. And it's not, partnerships are strategic. It's how partners will contribute X% of new ARR within the next 12 to 18 months. That sets a tone for the entire company that this is a goal for the company. It can even be by this time next year, 30% of our qualified pipeline has a partner attached. That's just signaling it's not an optional motion. It's a real lever in the business. Second, choose focus. You and your partner leader agree on an IPP and a primary motion. A primary motion, meaning we're going to do this with this kind of a partner first and get it down pat. And you're willing to back them when they say no, even when a shiny logo pings you on LinkedIn or corners you or the board comes at you. Like, you have to have their back to say, no, this isn't in our priority right now. We need to get really good at what we have decided we're going to do. And then we will bring on and layer on all the rest of them. The third is, it would be your job to create the alignment and incentives. Sales, understanding how partner-sourced opportunities are routed and credited, comp plans that make sense, marketing, having clear partner campaigns, knowing which partners to connect to pipeline targets, to key activities. That's demand gen, that's paid, that's social, that's events, that's community, that's life cycle. A partner person cannot be doing all of this. And then product, understand which partners and integrations drive revenue, which ones materially improve customer workflows, and being involved early in the planning and design rather than just getting a list and then working off of them. And the fourth most important one is protect it from whiplash. You judge the progress off of realistic milestones that you have set together with the leader, not fantasy expectations, and you don't constantly rewrite the mandate because a new idea or a new partner appears. Constantly shifting priorities resets your internal team, it resets partner trust, and it starts the whole process all over again, which basically kills the compounding effect that is actually the power of partnerships in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, let me read this. Sabrina said, "Pure gold." I completely agree with Sabrina. So thank you, Sonia,
Absolutely.
because this is amazing. So I think that we got a couple of other questions before we move
We
on, right,
have one
Sonia?
more question actually from Mike. He's asking, Sonia, what tips do you have to make sure a partnership is a win for both companies? How do you get my company to get into the habit of referring back to our partners?
So a lot of this we did talk about. It's about getting the teams aligned, getting every team that is supporting your partner team, one needs to have a goal around it. So marketing can't just be like, oh yeah, we sent out like three one-pagers and we did an email series with this partner, right? When you are talking about how to get your company to get into the habit of referring back to our partners, marketing plays a big part in this, CS plays a big part in this, but it's your customer lifecycle marketing team 9 times out of 10. The key here is figure out where these partners fit into your customer journey and what their value prop is. Once you've got that, you actually have the narrative of how they seamlessly fit in, but it's also not creating a bunch of noise. Like sending a direct email talking about a partner for every partner that you bring on is creating a lot of noise, and your marketing team hates that. It's also really bad for your brand. Email fatigue, we all know, is real. Using that as an example, they can weave your partner into the actual narrative. So for example, I used to be at Gusto. Let's talk about a payroll product. We want to talk about 401k. We want to talk about health insurance. Like it weaves directly into a benefits narrative. But 401k and health insurance are provided from third-party providers. So they are actually partners. It's about building, and this all will come from figuring out who your ICP is first, and then figuring out what that motion is. Once you do that motion, you will have all of this falling into place. And so the win-win for the partnership is early conversations. You guys need to get on the same page with the partner. What are your goals? What are you looking for? Don't dance around it. Do we all want distribution? Do we want revenue? Do we want to fix a customer workflow or user experience? Great. What are our goals in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months with this partnership? And how are we actually going to achieve them? And that way, that's with the partner. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win-win because your customer is also a part of this story. And then when you're starting to figure out what the narrative is, that's how your internal teams start figuring out how to refer back. And the key is going to be CS and customer lifecycle marketing, but product can also help you with referring customers to your partners.
Definitely. Sonia, I don't know if you're reading, but people are just raving about everything that you're
Oh,
sharing.
love that.
So this is
Yeah.
great because, and again, thanks not only to Sonia because she's super kind to share this, but also everyone that attended, because everything that you put there, this won't be possible if you didn't attend live. So again, thank you everyone. And Sonia is super kind because
It's
you
everything.
are actually live here. Sonia is super kind also to extend kind of like a bonus for everyone that attended live. We know for a fact that everyone, we are all kind of like in the same struggles and things that could be solved with someone that helps you. So Sonia is super kind to actually extend this. Actually, if you click there where it says book a session, you can actually claim a free 60-minute session. So basically, it would be a consultation. Sonia will actually help you to identify maybe your top blocker, and then what you'll do is work towards an action plan so that you can actually move forward. So again, thanks Sonia for actually offering this, for taking the time, for sharing all your knowledge. And again, if you don't follow Sonia on LinkedIn, please make yourself a favor, do that. And again, anything that you want to share, Sonia, to wrap this up, because I think that it was the best so far that we've seen. So thank you again for doing this.
I
Yeah, when
love
it comes
that.
to compliments, this was definitely the one that was most loved so far, and we're very happy for you and for everyone here
Yes,
helping to organize this session.
yes.
I love that. All I will say coming out of this is you can tell by how I talk that I'm not about buzzwords and like random hypothetical ideas. It's about tactical behavior. So if you are listening or watching this and thinking like, what does this look like for my company? Set some time up. I not only can help you build from 0 to 1, but also help you diagnose where your partner program is stuck. and design something that is actually going to compound. And sometimes you won't hear the things you want to hear. I'm very honest and I'm very blunt. I will tell you when you are completely wrong. So it'll be a nice, honest conversation. And I'm looking forward to talking to anybody who needs the help. I'm happy to help anytime.
Sabrina already wants a second session with you, Sonya.
Yes.
Well, there's the link. Book it.
We will
should
make
do
it
maybe
happen.
like a special series with you.
Yeah, pick a
once per
topic,
month.
Sabrina. We'll do it next
We'll
next
make
time.
it happen. We'll make it happen, and keep an eye, because of course we'll share all. If you are watching the recording or if you couldn't make it, we actually share everything also on social. So keep an eye on that, because Tom will make a great job actually breaking this. I think that the whole session was super helpful, but I think that we can narrow it down to the things that were the main takeaways. And I completely agree with everyone. This was like, in terms of value, this was amazing, Sonia. So again, thanks for taking the time and also being so kind to share this. I mean, you have a lot of experience, so we are super glad that you're sharing this with our audience.
Of course, loved it. This was super fun and great questions. Thank you.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
we'll see you soon with our next session.
yes,
It's coming
keep
up
an eye
soon.
keep an eye on the one for February, and I think that Sabrina, maybe we'll make it happen, and we'll have Sonia for a second session shortly. So keep an eye on that. And again, thanks everyone that attended live. Again, this won't be possible if you didn't join, and also if you're watching the recording, the same. This is just for the sake of helping you guys get the results. So thank you, everyone. And Sonia, it was a real pleasure. And thank you so much. And Tom, amazing job as always.
Yeah,
Thank you,
always
everyone.
perfect. Awesome. See you soon,
Thank you so
guys.
much. Have a good
Bye
one. Take
bye.
care.